1 year in, and how many villas do you have?
10. Yeah, 10 are live
10.
now. Yes. It's
10
very
villas.
exciting.
Wow.
I have a lot of flexibility. I can be in Germany, I can be anywhere. I plan to stay 2 months in Cape Town over rainy season here. I do not have to be here right now. And that's all the freedom that I have. I do so much more sports that I've ever done in my whole life before. I'm trying so many things that I haven't had the time before. There was a time in Jakarta when I lost a lot of self-confidence in myself and where I felt like I wanted to change something and wanted to do something deeper for myself, where I have everything in my own hands and not being controlled by a corporate company. And I didn't have any guarantee that this plan that I have would work out. But I
Mm.
had this vision, I had my energy, I had the belief in myself, and I went all in.
Wow. Hi, and welcome to another episode of Behind the BNB Season 2. I am with Maren today, who is based in Bali, and I'm so excited to have her join me on the show today. She has an incredible story. So, Maren, hello, how are you?
Hi, Steph. Nice to see you here on the show. Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be your guest today.
So, you have an incredible story where you were in the corporate world and you ended up building your Airbnb business to the point where you could leave your corporate job. So, for those who don't know who you are, I'm going to hand it over to you and you can share your story. So, go for it.
Yeah, thank you. I'm the founder of Manolia Stays, a short-term rental brand based in Bali. But yeah, I have a corporate career over 14 years. I've built my career across Europe and Southeast Asia. And yeah, most recently, I was marketing director in Southeast Asia in Jakarta for Indonesia for a global company. And I've worked on huge global brands, and I love to work on bringing those ideas to life. But yeah, and at some point, I felt like there is a deep need for a change. And then I went yeah, to risk it and start over and start something that's my own journey. And so I moved to Bali and started from zero and built up my short term rental business here.
I think that
Yeah,
is
and I'm 1 year
so,
in
so
now.
brave. Wow. 1 year in, and how many villas do you have?
10. Yeah, 10 are live
10.
now. Yes, it's
10
very
villas.
exciting.
Wow. I'm blown away by your story because it's not that easy to give up, 14 years of having built this career to the point where you were marketing director, just to reiterate what you were doing before, living this lifestyle. When we chatted before, is very much a luxury lifestyle in Jakarta where you had
Yeah.
everything. You had absolutely
Yeah,
everything.
a
And
driver, a
yes,
maid.
yeah,
Exactly.
everything. And then to decide to just change direction for your life. What was that pivotal moment, for you where you just decided, right, I'm going to go all in and I want to build this business. Where did that even come from?
That's a very good question, Steph. So honestly, I had this idea about short-term rental already 6 years ago, but the pain wasn't big enough. I really,
Mm,
really loved my job, and you know, it was everything. But then I felt like in my time in Jakarta, I felt like I got to a point where pain got bigger and where I felt like I wanted to change something and wanted to do something deeper for myself, and where I can control myself, where I have everything in my own hands and not being controlled by a corporate company, which in one way I do love it. And I have always loved it. But then I felt like after such a long time, there was a need for me to change something. So I had this vision of building something where I have my personal financial freedom, my location freedom, and also more time freedom. Because what I have changed now during that year, I have, well, being independent and entrepreneur is you're always on in one way, but I have a lot of flexibility. I can be in Germany, I can be anywhere. I plan to stay 2 months in Cape Town over a rainy season here. I do not have to be here right now, and that's all the freedom that I have. I do so much more sports that I've ever done in my whole life before. I have, I'm trying so many things that I haven't had the time before in my
Mm.
job, in my 9 to 5 job, which wasn't 9 to 5, obviously.
Yeah.
So I feel like I have a lot of power through this new journey, that reconnects with myself as well. And
Mm.
I felt like, there was a time in Jakarta when I lost a lot of self-confidence in myself.
Mm.
Um, so I was even more proud going into this brave journey because I really started from scratch. I started
Mm.
everything from scratch. I didn't have, you know, any team. I didn't have any website. I was never the type of entrepreneur, like never. I felt like
Yeah.
very safe in my corporate skeleton. And, I didn't have any guarantee that this plan that I have would work out. I didn't have
Mm.
any guarantee for it. But I
Mm.
had this vision, I had my energy, I had the belief in myself, and I went all in. I didn't do it half-hearted. I went fully in, and I wanted it to work, and I wanted to show that I can create something that pays my bills. It gives me that lifestyle that I have right now, and yeah. And now I'm really proud that I have achieved this, one year in, and looking back,
Oh
I
my
do not
gosh. Yeah.
regret that decision. And also doesn't mean that I don't go back to corporate world maybe one day. I don't know. Who knows? Life changes. But right
Well,
now, I'm working on building my own
yeah.
empire. But right now, it feels exactly right where I am, and I love that journey.
Yeah. I love that you touched on the fact that the pain wasn't big enough for you because you said you did come across this concept 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Can I ask
Yeah.
how and where you saw it? Was it just on social media or like was someone talking about it with you? Like 6 years ago, that's quite a while ago to have come across
Yeah.
this, you know? Yeah.
It, exactly. Yeah. So honestly, 6 years ago, yes, there was a documentary on a German channel on
Mm,
TV, which I watched, and he was selling a course as well, but I haven't put much effort into it. And
mm.
then when I saw James's stories all the time, and it kept popping up on my Instagram,
Sorry about that.
2023. Yeah.
Sorry, not sorry.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. No, but I felt like it came back, and then I was like, I felt like Bali is the right place to be to do this,
Yeah.
and then I went, and James just reiterated that whole idea again, and I felt like that was a lot more solid, that course, because
Mm,
I felt like I'm not alone going into this. I
mm,
had someone or that whole team for James, because we have in this a program there, from Monday to Friday, you have everyday calls to every
mm,
topic that helps you, where you can ask questions. And I wanted to avoid the most mistakes possible. So I wanted to
mm.
go in very solid. So what I did, very German. So when I was still, on my weekends before I finished my time in Jakarta, I went through the whole course, noted everything down into my OneNote. So I would just need to open each chapter depending on where I am in my part of my journey. So then, so I did the whole program, and then once I moved to Bali, I had the whole theory at hand,
How
and
long
I
how
knew
long did
like
it
the
actually
steps.
take you how long did it actually take you to complete the course with having organized it the way that you did to learn it in the best way that you would?
The way that I did, I think like 3 weeks, with like I was writing down because I didn't want to rewatch the videos. So of
Mm,
course there's a lot of documents as well, but
Hmm.
I felt like I needed to have it in my words as well, just take down the key messages. And then,
So
yeah, I
three
think around
weeks.
maximum 2 to 3 weeks, I had
Yeah.
everything. But then I
Had
had
you
to
had
fill it with
you
life.
had you done the course in Jakarta? So before you moved to Bali?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
Okay.
I've done
Okay.
all the theory before I moved.
And had you figured out that Bali was the best destination for you whilst you were doing the course, or you already had a desire to move to Bali?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
think,
where, so,
yeah.
okay, so I just have to go back a little bit because, we're touching on, yeah, the first time that you heard about Airbnb 6 years ago through some documentary, and then you came across James, what, about a year ago on socials, and
3 years
and then
almost now.
yeah, and then it was yeah, the pain point where you touched on having lost a bit of confidence. So this was when you were still in the corporate world. Do you mind sharing a
Hmm.
little bit about sort of the headspace and mindset you were in as that pivotal moment in your life to just, go from having been in corporate, you said you lost confidence. If you don't mind sharing actually what specifically that was, that turning point for you. Are you comfortable
Yeah,
enough to share that?
yeah, yeah, that's
You
fine.
sure?
I can do it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, well, it was a tough time because during my time in Europe, um, in the corporate world, I knew what I was doing. I was leading big brands across 11 countries, and I felt like I was an inspiration for my team, for the people that I worked with and that worked for me. And I knew how things were going. So I worked for the same company in Asia. It's the same company, but same brands. But I felt like everything was very different.
Mm.
And for some reasons, while I'm very, very open culturally in any sense, I felt like I had challenges to be the best version of myself in this environment.
So
So
you'd been
I
in
felt
Europe in your role as a marketing director for how long before you moved to
I
Asia?
was I Oh, I was marketing manager before, and then I
Okay.
was marketing director in Jakarta. So I
Oh, you
had
got
always, every
promoted.
2 years, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
all the time. Yeah, yeah. Every
Okay.
2 years I got a promotion. And
Hmm.
yeah, so it was different brands, different, within marketing, it was different sections from
Hmm.
innovation to marketing manager to customer activation. So I went
Yeah.
through different sections within the marketing world, but I was, always promoted. And then I
So
had
by
that
the
next
time you moved,
promotion,
yeah, so that time you moved to Jakarta, that was the promotion for marketing director. That was
marketing.
for that role.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. And then
exactly.
you did,
Yeah.
and you
Yeah.
were in Jakarta for how long as marketing director?
1.5 years. One
One
and a
and a
half
half
years.
years. Yeah. And that's when
Yeah.
things started to shift a little bit for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Then I felt that I came to a point where I felt like I could not be the inspiration, the leader that I would expect from myself from that role. So
Mm.
I'm
Yeah.
very
Wow.
self-reflected, and I felt like I'm not the person that I see in this role for my
Mm.
team. So
Mm.
that's when and then, now I felt quite miserable at times. And I was like, but I felt very comfortable in Indonesia. I was not ready to go back. So the company would have been super supportive in me, like moving me to another country, maybe a country like Australia or something that is more close to Europe, because of
Mm.
course Indonesia operates very different as a country. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's more like a developing country as opposed to like a very structured European countries.
Yeah.
So things are very, very different. So that's why
Mm.
I felt like, but I felt like I do not want to go to another place. I felt like I want to do now something that comes from myself that I create on my own.
Mm.
And then I was like, and I talked with family and friends about it. And then I was like, okay, let's do this. I'm gonna be brave now. I'm gonna quit my job, my corporate career after 14 years.
Wow,
I
that's
had a
huge.
driver in Jakarta. I had this luxury condo. I had a maid. I had everything that I could
Mm,
ask for, everything
mm,
on
mm,
my paper. I had a
mm.
great salary. But then and it was scary because, the first month living in Bali, not getting any salary at the end of the month is a bit like, eh.
Oh my gosh, what have I committed
It
to?
is fine.
Yeah,
It's exactly. But I was like, of course, I'm German, so I made I planned everything
planned.
quite well. So
Yeah.
I had my financial plan, my plan for my personal expenses for a certain period of time, and I had my like my financial part for my investment for this
Mm,
business.
mm,
And then, of course, I always have my backup in Germany on
mm.
my savings, which I did not touch. So I was like, let's go all in. But then
Yeah.
that's when it started. I was like, great, Bali is a wonderful idea. That's a great touristic destination. AirDNA also tells me it's great. So then
Mm.
I arrived here and I was like, holy shit, I did not do my homework well enough. I was like, no. So I started from scratch. I was very, very much hands-on. And
Let's
then
talk
I
about
started to drive around.
before
Yeah.
you jump into I know what you're about to say because we talked about this before. But for people listening, so what had you actually set aside in terms of finances? Because it's like, all right, you were going to give yourself what, 6 months, a year? Had you had enough savings, that you could throw yourself into this full time and not have to sort of worry about finances for at least the next, or not worry about getting paid for like the next 6 to 12
Yeah.
months? What
Yeah.
was that for you? Yeah.
Yeah, so I started to be, first of all, I made a huge change. I lived in
Mm.
a guest house. I lived very, very low budget for when I started my business
So
because
what
I
was
knew
that?
that there
Was
was
that
no
giving
money coming
yourself?
in.
Yeah, was that to give yourself, what
So
was it,
for
six
six, I said,
months?
I said to myself, okay, for 6 months, I'm
Yeah.
fine,
Mm.
with my living budget, and
Because you
then I had
downgraded
around.
completely as well. Yeah.
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 And I was just
Cut
like, no
costs.
shopping, no anything,
Yeah.
just whatever I really, really need. And then on the other hand, I had 50,000 euros approximately that I said I'm going to invest.
Mm.
So that was my plan. I was like, okay, that's great. And then let's go.
Mm. My
And of course,
goodness. Yeah.
because I moved here in end of April, so I was like until beginning of next year, so like 7, 8 months. I was like,
Mm.
this is approximately until when I would like, my savings are finishing. The one that my planned savings for this project.
Yeah.
So not all my life savings. And
Yeah.
so yeah, so then I moved here, and then that's when I started to bring my theory to pay like what fill my theory with life. So
Yeah.
I started to with everything with from scratch, and I was very hands-on. I went on and I was looking for those properties
Mm.
that I could go live with. And in a
Mm-hmm.
lot of countries in the world where having subleasing as part of the contract is really a challenge, this is not a challenge here. So this part of the world has different challenges, and that is the upfront payment. So if you
Mm.
really want to make sure that your deal is profitable, you need to pay upfront years.
Mm.
So the
Mm.
longer, the better your monthly breakdown. So, and I was like, shit, so I can get maybe like one property, and then that's not gonna, that's not gonna
That's not going to
make me
cut it.
live.
Yeah.
No, not really. I'm like, then I was really bummed. I was like, holy cow, I did not do my homework right. So I was upset. But then I had a next villa viewing scheduled, and I was like, ugh. It's like, should I go? But then that girl texted me, yeah, we meet here, in like 1 hour. I'm like, okay, whatever, let's go. Just
Oh
keep going.
man.
And that's one
Yeah.
learning that I had. Every time one door closes, another one opens.
Mm.
And
Because
then
what
when I
happened
went
with,
to this
yeah, what
viewing,
happened with this one? Yeah.
exactly, because at this viewing, when I felt like super, yeah, demotivated, I met someone who said, "Oh, great, he wants to get a lot of villas, but he doesn't want to manage them." He's like, "I don't want to do anything." And I'm like, "Great, I can do this." So he's got the money, he wants villas, he wants to invest. And that's how villa management was born. So that's how I started to scale
How,
up my business.
okay, so was that based on that second viewing that you went to where you met that
Oh,
female
well, it was
agent?
not the second, probably like the 20th or 15th viewing. But yes, I met
Okay.
another viewer. So it was not the
Yeah.
agent, it was another person who was also
Ah,
viewing. And we got
okay.
into a conversation and we talked, and I told him on my plan what I'm doing. He was sharing that he wants to invest into villas, but he doesn't want to do anything, any work hands on.
Okay.
So
So, yep,
then it's
just a
like, yeah, I found
conversation. Yep.
exactly. It's just about talking, and it's all allowing things to happen and
Mm,
believing in the process. Trust
mm,
the process. That
mm.
is so much what I've been telling myself. Like, believe in yourself, trust the process, everything's gonna be fine. Maybe it doesn't go the way you thought it would be, but it just maybe another door opens. So
Yeah.
so then I found that villa that, I went through the deal analyzer, did all my math, and I found another villa. I showed him, and he was like, "Great." So then I started furnishing this villa for him. He paid for the
Mm.
furniture and everything. But that was also the next scary part. Like, oh my God, furnishing something in Germany, fine, no problem. I know where I get things. But in Bali, like, oh my God, where the hell am I going? Well, right now I feel like I'm a pro. I furnished like 7 villas already. And I have all my contacts. Everything is over WhatsApp, like, or carpenters, and, at any time of the day, 24/7, you can text them. So all of these
Yeah.
contacts I've built up over time, but everything was very scary in the beginning. I felt like,
Mm.
because I'm in a different country. I've
Yeah, everything is
opened a
new. You
company in a
don't,
different,
yeah.
everything is new.
You're
Everything
starting
is,
your
but I
life there,
felt
you're
like,
meeting new people. So the first villa, if we can go back, did you take that one on with the money that you had in your investment pot? Did you actually pay up front for the rent for that one
yeah,
to
yeah.
get that one
So
up and
it
running?
was
Yeah.
pretty much at the same time. So I had this villa from the investor and I was furnishing
Mm,
this, but I didn't want
mm,
to rely on someone fully, like that money is coming in from that one source only. So I was
mm,
still looking for myself for any
mm,
option, where I found then a place that was furnished already, and so I
mm.
didn't have to pay furniture, and was
Which is
available
great.
for two
Yeah.
years.
And
And I
where
could
where
set up
in
a
Bali
payment
was this
plan.
one? Where in Bali was this
Pirariran.
one?
It's
Kareninen.
in
Okay.
Pirarena, near
Yeah.
Canggu area, both of them.
Okay.
So
Okay.
in the end, both of those villas went live pretty much on the same time. And
Yeah.
I felt really confident and happy that I do not fully rely on someone else. And
Yeah.
that's another key learning that I had over the last year, is being making sure you diversify yourself. Don't
Mm.
rely on one investor, don't rely on just one place. So I always made sure that, now I have probably 5 different villa owners or investors, and I have my own villas. So I have now up to like 3, and I have a diversified portfolio, which helps me to give, income, because there's always, you know, villas that are going better, or there's always fluctuation in any
Yeah, because
way.
you've got,
So
yeah, what's good is you've not just stuck to one area. So you've got can we go through your actual portfolio? So
yeah,
you've got two in Pereninen, which were the first two that you got,
yeah,
the one that
yeah,
you
yeah,
have paid rent up front, and then the other one you manage for someone. And
yeah,
did you continue to work with this investor for other villas?
yes,
So you
yes.
manage
So
a
I had,
few working
yeah.
with him, yeah?
Yeah, so I had three of him.
Mm.
Now we are back to one because
Okay.
this his renting period was over, so we had to finish
Okay.
that contract. So I managed for 10 months or so two other villas for him, and I
Yeah.
expanded further to Canggu area, Barava, which is part of Canggu, and then
Mm.
Umalas, where I have a five-bedroom villa and with a
Mm.
two-bedroom villa next to it. So I offer it also as a seven-bedroom, and that works
Mm.
really well. It's very close to Seminyak, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's also from an investor. And it's just great to work with different people.
Mm.
And of course, I'm learning also a lot from these people as well, the way because I'm in this journey for 1 year, and the way they react to things, they all have different characters, and
Mm.
there are some that are challenging, there are some that are very collaborative that you like to work with, and but everything, like, it always gives me a way to improve myself.
Mm.
And make sure that I'm clearer and clearer to make sure there are no misunderstandings in any way. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, so
And
it's
so
it's
it's
been a
been such
great
a learning
journey.
yeah, I was going to say it's been
Yeah,
such a journey and great learning experience of building your business literally from scratch and then meeting people along the way and you almost pivoting because you're finding solutions for,
yeah,
obviously you
exactly.
went back and said, "Oh, you didn't do your research," not realizing the better deals were, gained by paying rent in advance. But it's like who's got that much capital like ready to just deploy? Not, especially when you're starting out,
Exactly.
yeah, it's not even wise to put that much capital up front, especially if you're paying 1 to 2 years in advance. And then you're like, I don't even know how it's
Exactly.
going to do. Um, so out of the portfolio of 10 villas that you've got, how many are yours that you've paid up front, and then how many in
Free.
total are you managing?
Free.
So you've got three that are yours and then
Yeah.
seven that are managed.
Yeah.
And it's through Manolia Stays, which you continue to build. I love that you said you're building your empire. So, as we're talking about Manolia Stays, where did the name for your business come from? Because I'd love to talk a little bit about that as well, where how that all came
Yeah.
about. Yeah.
Yeah. So Manolia Stays. Yeah. So wait. So it's inspired by the flower Magnolia,
Mm-hmm.
and it's elegant, timeless, stylish, and it's a beautiful flower.
Mm.
However, I wanted a name that feels warm and welcoming. And but also it stands out, just like the experience that I'm offering to my guests, right?
Mm.
And I didn't like the G in it. So that's why I removed it. I said Manolia, and I just love the sound of it, and I feel like it sounds really inviting. So
Mm.
yeah, that's a little bit the story. Very simple, but
Mm.
yeah, I wanted to
Because
make
I
sure
love your
it's easy
branding.
to
I love the
remember as
colors.
well.
Yeah, I love the colors and the
Yes,
branding. And, as we're talking about this, we're bringing up your Instagram, we're bringing up your website. And it's about highlighting what you also want to have set up, before you are now talking with investors about working with you. It comes across very professional. And I think, that obviously lends to your corporate background too. And you having worked in
exactly.
corporate and
Yeah,
professional for so many years that now you stepped into
yeah,
setting up your business, something new, but all the skills that you've gained has all been for a reason to be in the position you're in
yeah,
now and get these incredible opportunities to network with people and
yeah.
and who are willing to work with you, you know. And I think
100%,
yeah.
100%. Yeah, I still have that corporate girl inside me. I have trackers for everything. There's
Mm,
like my whole team was like, yeah, they love to work, for a German, because I work with Balinese people here. And they were
mm,
like, because I'm very structured and I will always have that inside me. Probably one part is the German, then the other part is like corporate background.
yeah.
But yeah, I just want to come back on the branding. It's a
Mm,
really, really wonderful story about this. Because
yeah.
when of course, I'm a marketeer and I've launched so many brands. So in terms of branding, it was really, really important for me. And I had that vision about, having something that's very elegant, very classy as well. and but still like timeless. And then I was like, where do I get this? How do I build this? So I got a website where I submit a briefing, and it's called 99 Design, and they have I don't know, like 1,000 designers all over the world can submit like a first draft. So I got like, they have like 3 days and they kept submitting these. And then this one logo that I'm using now, I got it and I was like, I immediately started to cry because he put it in
Oh,
like a
wow.
little, mood board. I was like, I started to have tears in my eyes, and I just saw this whole vision because I don't know if it's gonna stay Manolia Stays. Maybe who knows? Maybe there will be a Manolia Cafe, Manolia Academy. Who knows? But I felt like I saw this vision coming to life. I
Wow.
felt so touched. So I went on with this designer, and later I found out he was from Indonesia. He was from Lombok. And I was
Oh,
like,
wow.
it could have been anyone out of the world, but it was
But it
someone from
was
Indonesia who really reached
Indonesia.
my heart in this
Yeah,
moment.
wow.
So that was really cool. So that
Talk
made me
about
like,
things
I felt like that
aligning.
closeness.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah.
That was really cool. Yeah. That was very
Mm.
nice. Yeah.
It's great. And I've said it before, I love your branding. I love the colors. I love how you photograph your villas. It's to a really good quality, high quality. The videos, the
Yeah.
reels that you do. So you're getting like proper guys coming in with drones, even like shooting footage
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
models and like creating this whole experience with all these villas in Bali. And I think do you want to share? I think it's always good, especially for students in our community who will be watching this, or even people
Yeah.
who maybe haven't started anything Airbnb related. The importance and the value behind marketing, because you are the expert, marketing
Mm.
and promoting your properties. Can you speak into the importance of that, and why you do things to such a high standard?
Yeah, absolutely. It's super important. That's also what we've learned in the course. And that was really important for me I mean, I would have done it anyway in a high standard,
Mm,
intuitively, but that was just emphasize how important it is to have professional photos. And honestly, I was so lucky to have bumped into my best photographer that I'm working with for all my villas. One time, and I know this now because I had a benchmark. I had one time, I had to take another photographer one time because he was out of the country for 2 weeks. And I wanted to get my villa life. And then what I received, I was like, oh my God. I was like, I didn't even know
oh
how to,
no,
I was like, okay, I get like 5 or 10 photos out to make sure this listing goes live because I don't want to miss out on bookings.
getting it
But that
listed,
was,
yeah.
it's like, it's so important to work together with professional people and
Yeah.
structured also. So this guy I'm working with now, he's so structured. He puts folders for every room. He makes sure. So I've learned also a lot on the journey because lightning is super important, like daylight, the sun
Mm,
rays and the shadows that it creates, and that golden hours. It makes a huge difference as if you have a gray sky, and it just makes such a difference. You want to make sure you come across you bring across like warm inviting
mm,
photos.
mm,
So it's really important. And I've experienced the negative side of a photographer that doesn't do a great job, but he
mm,
is doing an amazing job, and I'm so happy to work with him. And all of my villas, all of my 10 villas, it's all done with them, and and of course I do myself reels as well, with my own phone.
mm,
Yeah, because I like it and I enjoy doing this. But yeah, it's it's really important to work with professional people. The same with my team. Finding the right people you can trust is also ultimately game changer. Yeah,
that's it. And these are your
absolutely.
your power team. They make up your power team, the cleaners, the villa managers. But even just going back to the photos and the videos, I think, I love that you said it's important to work professional, like with professionals, and not just any type of photographer. You need someone who's
Yeah.
got a little bit of an experience with property photography, and
Yeah.
then yeah, when you do your first photo shoot with them, they need to know that this is an Airbnb and it's about an experience that you're
Yeah.
wanting to create, right? Even through the photos,
Exactly.
because there are a lot of villas on Airbnb, like when you go to book something, and when there is a bit of saturation, how are you going to stand out from that? And one of the ways is to make sure it's decorated like the way you've done. You started talking about where you were going to find furniture from, and I remember when we were laughing about the fact that in our, like, before we jumped on and record, that you
Yeah.
hopped on your scooter because you realized that's what you needed to do, go get to know the locals and find out where to get all these beautiful furniture items that you've got in your villas
Yeah.
and decorate it beautifully, get professional photos done so it stands out and gets booked.
Mm.
And you must be so proud of like what you've built over just a year, Maren. This is what I can't get
I know.
over. It's only been a
Yeah.
yeit and you've got 10
Yeah.
villas that look the way that they
Yeah.
do. They are beautifully presented. And yeah, so let's talk for those who are like, okay, but are you making any profit? Like, so let's get into that. Like, how are you
Yeah.
finding
Right.
things
Yeah.
over the course of the year? Occupancy, are you happy to share that? Are you,
Yeah.
you're making a
That's
good like net profit as well?
yeah, that's a very good question. And yeah, so
Mm,
it is, of course. So villa management, that gives you, of course, no matter how great the property performs, it's a
mm,
win-win because
mm.
I would
What's
always,
your
there's
management
no
fee with that, by the way?
15% of the published
15%.
rate.
Okay.
Exactly, yes. So that's very common. I think actually in Bali, a lot of agencies they take more percentage, but I felt like I'm
Okay.
starting, so I felt like I want to be fair, 15%. I also want to make sure it's profitable for the villa owner because the
Mm,
last thing I want or need is a client that is not happy with their payouts.
of course.
you
Yeah.
know you can't control the environment and the market is very, very competitive in Bali. So that is, you can't look away from this. There's villas
Mm,
popping up every day, so you really, really need to make sure how to stand out and
yeah.
make sure you have 5-star reviews, make sure your algorithm goes up so your listing pops up much higher. That is super important. And
Mm,
fresh listings, they always take a little bit more time to really get traction. So,
mm,
and seasonality is also another point that is stronger than I expected before. So, that is something that's, like an aha moment, I would say. Like, okay, low season is low. So that's why it's important to play with strategies on, maybe get monthly tenants during that time and then do daily and high season, for example. But yeah,
mm,
so if I looked at my portfolio, especially on my own villas, it is really, so one villa actually I just gave away. So one villa I finished the contract early because it did not deliver the result that I was expecting 1 year ago. I thought
mm,
this one is a no-brainer because it's 5 minutes walking to the beach. It's next to the biggest beach clubs in Asia or the world, Fins and Atlas. It's like, maybe it's the style, I don't know, but
mm.
it's very spacious. It's beautiful, a beautiful 3-bedroom villa, but it
What
has
area
not gotten
was
traction.
what
It's
area was that one in?
Barava, Canggu, Barava, Canggu.
Lava. Okay. Yeah.
So very, very close, like walking to the beach, which is a lot of villas are not walkable to the beach. So
Mm.
because it's just not
That's interesting then. Yeah,
there.
that it didn't
So yeah, so
perform.
I, I
Yeah.
I thought it was like such a no-brainer, but in the end, it picked up on traction. Um, but yeah, so I felt like I need to take a decision because I had to pay the second year after 6 months. That was my payment term that we agreed, and I felt like it's way too expensive. I was like, "Ugh, no, this is not, I'm not gonna do this. I'm not gonna put
Mm.
my money again into year two. So I sacrificed on the deposit, which I will not get back because I cut the deal from 3 to 1 year.
Mm.
And so it's fine. I'm giving that away.
Why?
Of
Why do
course, it
you
was
think?
my stick.
Yeah. Why do you, I'm wondering why it didn't perform because Canggu is it's a tourist hotspot and like you said it was walking distance to the beach. So, do you know did you work out
Yeah,
why it didn't perform?
I think a year in, I believe that I would not agree again to this price. I think it's also the
Mm.
price. If you
It
the
was
price
you
was too
paying way too
expensive,
much.
it was,
Right.
yeah. I think
That you
I
weren't
would
making
now.
anything. Yeah.
I didn't go negative out of this deal. So I think a
Mm.
15% plus, which is
Mm.
not great. I mean, I have other
Mm.
villas that are 70% plus. So
Mm.
like so for 100 euros, get 170 euros in return after
Mm.
expenses. So I have 70 euros plus. Um,
Mm.
just as a simple maths here. But
Yeah.
yeah, but with 15% return on invest, I was not happy. I was like, it's not, and it bound too much capital. So I was like, no, I need to, if I'm going for another villa, then it needs to be, I got experience over that time because that was very,
Yeah.
very early on when I got that deal. And
Yeah.
so that's why it was really hard to make it profitable. I would never take on a deal with that price range again. It was too
Mm.
expensive,
Mm. That was
because your
a
fixed costs are
learning
already too
experience
high.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So
100%. And just
what
like in marketing in your yeah.
oh, I was just going to ask, so what are your metrics now in terms of return on investment? What sort of percentage range are you aiming for when you go to do,
On my
to
own,
source
on
your
my own, it's
villas?
around
Yeah.
70%. So
Okay.
that's also now after a year in, my experience, 70% is is a good, and for investors,
Mm.
of course, it's less because they have me in between.
The
I take
management
a
fee.
chunk out.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I think for them, it's great. I mean, 30 to 40% is
Hmm.
absolutely great if they
Mm.
get it. It really
Mm.
depends also. I don't have it in my hands how much they pay for their villa. So that's why it's so important for me to understand when I talk to villa owners as new clients to
Mm.
understand what's their like what's their fixed cost and do I
Mm.
believe I can make sure I can get their profits before, or like do I get their profits, their desired profits, because it's
Yeah.
not I'm not I don't it doesn't help me to
You can't
have
be
have
managing
someone
blind.
not
Yeah.
exactly. So and making them unhappy. So that doesn't
Yeah.
really help me at all. Like
Yeah.
I'd rather have not that client, um, as opposed to having someone and not meeting his expectations. So I
Yeah.
will need to discuss all this up front
Hmm.
and then take a decision if I can meet his expectation given the market situation, because there's so many villas out here and
There's a
all of them
lot.
look
Do you know?
Instagrammable. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what the I'd be interested to know if you know this. What are the stats? How many villas are there actually listed as short-term rentals? Do you know
Uh, no, I don't
in
have them
Bali?
top of my mind right now. Yeah,
Yeah, I do wonder. I'm just
many,
yeah,
many.
it's a lot.
Yeah,
It's a
I haven't
lot.
looked into AirDNA.
Yeah.
It's a lot, yeah, and it will get more and more every day.
So it
So
continues to,
yeah,
yeah, there's quite
it's
a few people who are interested in getting villas over there. For some of the
yeah,
reasons being they want a place to stay when they're there themselves, and they're like, this is one way of,
exactly.
not having to purchase a villa because even the purchasing
Hmm.
situation in Indonesia is, whew, there's a lot to it, but we won't get into that. But I was going to ask, um, oh, there's so many things going through my head. I didn't even finish what I was saying. But with going back to you sourcing the villas, I remember at one point you said you were staying in like one of them, or you stayed in them to get the full experience of what the guests would experience.
Yeah,
Have
yeah,
you've done
yeah. I
that
try
before?
to sleep.
Yeah,
Yeah, I try to sleep in the villa for a night at
yeah,
least to make
yeah,
sure, because I'm the one who answers Airbnb questions. So I
yeah.
have my power team set up. So
Mm,
I do not talk to guests while they are coming. I don't do check-in. So
mm.
I'm just in the background making sure the whole pricing strategy, communication upfront, social media, etc., all of this. So, but if guests ask me anything, like
You can
before,
actually answer
so I
those
can answer all
questions.
those questions. Yes, I can answer the questions and then convert them to a booking. And then, so then everything else goes into the system, to my automated system, and my team has access to my, property software. And then they do everything independently, the check-ins,
After the booking.
check-outs.
Mm.
Exactly. So everything
So,
is then on their end.
have you got plans to have a VA, so a virtual assistant, actually replace you and be your guest, communicator at some point?
I hired a virtual assistant already in November last year. So I have
Okay.
someone who helps me with a lot of admin stuff. So I do not need to do all of this. Also with the monthly reportings, that whole, which is like a headache for me. I don't want to do all this nitty-gritty stuff. So he
Mm,
helps me with everything. So he's absolutely great and he is very proactive. He also knows, Airbnb and Booking.com, how to optimize things. So
mm,
that's he is very, very supportive. I feel like with the bookings, and with the inquiries, I feel like I'm still best myself in a way. I can give it away. He's doing a great job.
mm,
So especially, for example, when I was in Germany, I'm able to go to Germany for 2 months, and everything runs smoothly here. So I do not need to be here myself. But of course, if Airbnb requests come in the mornings, Bali time, that's the time when I was sleeping in Germany. So I had to make
mm.
sure. So during that time, he fully took over the whole Airbnb communication, and if there was any questions or anything, I would take over, but or later in the day. But he was there. It was all fine. I can totally trust him. He's doing a great job. But yeah, so I'm happy that I have a VA. And of course, I'm currently trying to think about ways, because it is a very different, it is a big change from my corporate job to doing this.
You're
Because
your
when
own
I
boss
was
now. This is it. It's your business.
exact
You're your own boss,
Ex-
building your own team.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You need to be accessible the whole time. So it's not like
Mm,
weekend, I'm off, or
mm,
evenings when I'm home, it's turned off, like your phone. Like that is a very big change for me. Like I'm always on, and I want to be more mindful in my time, and how I can be present in the moment. So I
mm,
don't want to be driven by my phone all the time, but there were
mm.
times, it depends on, when I was furnishing a villa, that's when a lot of people are texting me, like, so I
Yeah.
kind of need to be on alert. But
Mm.
that's what I'm trying to optimize now. How I can you know, be
Remove
more
yourself
mindful of
from,
my own
yeah,
time. Yes,
yeah.
and how I can remove myself from, I need to, like now, this moment, right now. So I can
Mm,
I can just put my phone away also for a couple of hours. So that's
mm,
what I'm trying to figure out for myself right now. Well, I have all the
yeah.
freedom. I can go into rice fields. I can go on hikes or whatever.
As long as you've
If
got your
something
laptop,
happens,
phone, internet.
yeah, whereas I just need my phone. That's it. So
Yeah,
if something comes in, I can quickly react. But
yeah.
normally everything is fine without me, and I don't need to be.
Mm,
But it's still something inside me, that responsibility part of me, that
yeah,
kind of wants to be involved, and I need to let go more of things, or find
yeah,
ways how I can just be more mindful of this. So that's a
yeah,
journey I'm in right now,
yeah.
because a weekend is not a weekend, but also workday is not a workday anymore like it was before. So I have so much
Mm,
more freedom, but I'm
mm,
also more alert, like
yeah.
that is a
It's
big
your
change.
business. It's your baby, and you're only a
Yeah,
year in, so there's still so many things you're the only one who will be able to see it, that you need to fix and tweak and, like you said, continue to optimize. And you're only just getting started, Maren. Like, it's only a year in. You've just
exactly.
got yeah.
Exactly.
just so proud of you, and everything that you've achieved up to this point is insane. Like your entire journey, your story is just so inspirational, because it just goes to show people that you don't need to just be stuck in the one thing for the rest of your life. If that's a corporate job,
No.
and people tend to, not, I guess they just don't, maybe the pain, you touched on pain, and maybe it's just not great, as great for them to then decide, I'm gonna so this is just not working for me. I'm gonna just, try something new. It's, yeah, you don't come across people with that sort of bravery. And I guess, I don't know, what would you say it is? You're like stepping out, and it's risky. You were scared to do it,
Yeah,
but
but it's
you did it.
yeah, it's risk taking. Yeah, and it is brave. Yeah, I do believe
Yeah,
so. Yeah.
yeah.
Because
And I
the
mean,
thing is, you
yeah.
don't have a guarantee. I don't have a guarantee. I don't have any warranty. The thing is, also, I've done all these things that I've done now, I've never
Mm,
done before. Also,
yeah.
building a website. I had agencies to do this. Like all of these things were like, I've learned so many new things in my whole life, like that I haven't done ever before. But
Mm,
that again, going through these challenges and like I don't know, like figuring out process gave me back the confidence that I lost. Because
mm,
now looking back a year, now looking at back a year later, I feel like I think it's great. I can achieve this in a different country and not in my home
mm,
country. I can do
mm,
this in a different world than home, like
mm.
my where I'm from. And if I can do it here, then I can do it anywhere. So that's
Wow.
also the plan looking ahead with Manolia Stays,
Mm,
I'm looking to expand maybe to other cities
yeah,
outside of Indonesia, other parts of the world. So,
yeah.
and then it will be new challenges, probably different challenges, but I'm up for it. Yeah.
Wow. And would you say that you've got this level of confidence now because of what you've built, and how your mindset has definitely shifted from that woman who was tied to her marketing director role, who lost a bit of confidence? Because would you say that your identity was very much tied to what you were doing before? That you felt,
Well,
yeah, it's just a question.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I felt like I feel like the Jakarta time was a very unique time in its own, where
Mm,
did lose my confidence
mm,
100%. But I felt like deep inside me, I haven't lost faith in me. Otherwise, I wouldn't have
mm,
done that step because
yeah.
I believed in myself that I would be able to do this. And there's one
Mm,
friend who always says, whatever you do, because she's like, you will make it happen. I don't like with you, you're so creative, so like everything new you start, you just make it work because
mm,
my character, my energy that's my energy. And
mm,
and she says, you're so talented, like getting new things on. Like, for example, now, well, I've started hula hooping like 3 years, 4 years ago. I've started now, I've never played any competitive sports in my whole life. And now I play
and
paddle
now,
5 times a week. So it's like, I feel like I'm a person very curious, very driven, and I have
mm,
high
mm,
tenacity. That's why I
mm,
get things done. And if I want
mm.
something, I have so much drive to get things done and get to the success of, like to get to the end of
So
it.
you've always been like that
That's
then?
my
That's
energy.
that's that's just who you are, and who you've been, which has
Yes.
been
Yeah.
shaped by, was
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
your upbringing, and just sort of your,
That
you know.
that's a very good question.
Mm,
I don't know if this is I don't know if this comes from my parents. I felt like they have a lot of drive too, but in a different way. And I felt I
mm,
was an au pair in the US
mm,
after school before I started
mm,
university. And I was my host mom. She was a businesswoman, or she still
mm,
is. And she inspired me back then. Of course, that was just before my, like what path am
Uni.
I going after?
Mm,
So, and I started, and she inspired me so much. She had so much drive, so much, what a successful woman. And she inspires me until today. And probably that's the reason why I chose international management and business administration as my study. And I studied in Germany and London. And I always tell her, she even came to visit me here now in Bali 20 years later after I
oh,
was an au
wow.
pair. So
Yeah.
yeah, that is so special. So I feel like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like she had a
An
definitely
impact.
impact on me on my professional journey, my drive that I have in a way. Yeah,
Wow.
I would
Okay.
say
Yeah. I think, yeah, in life, there's always people that come into your life. Everything happens for a reason. The people that you meet that come into your world, and they do form part of, I guess,
100%.
yeah, who you end up becoming one day. And yeah, I think, yeah, that's really cool to hear. But all right, so you talked about future plans for Manolia Stays, and where are you thinking of going to next? So you've done the 10 in Bali. You're not going to expand anymore there. Are you kind of looking in other countries?
Yeah, no, I'm growing organically. I have not
Mm,
grown aggressively here because I wanted
mm,
to grow it. I didn't want to overload myself and then,
mm. That's
don't
wise.
deliver on things. So I
Yeah.
I did, I went organically, and I'm already in conversations with new villa owners, and which is great. And I'm doing furnishing jobs, and I'm doing deal sourcing and villa viewings for other clients as well. So all of this
Oh,
I'm doing
wow.
here. So I'm
Okay.
still expanding. And
Mm.
then of course I have the community because I'm also a coach now at the James's course, which is great. So I've
That's
all
been a
these
few
connections.
months.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes, it's been
that's still
already
fairly
like
new, isn't
since
it?
May. Yeah. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
already 4 months and I enjoy it. It's always so nice to inspire people in the beginning of
I
their journey.
love I love that you're
Yeah,
a
it's
coach in our
so cool.
community. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, so
Students,
that's
I
why
will
I'm
say,
continuing to
I've
build.
already heard how amazing you are through some other students, like the ones who are like just getting started in Bali as well. They're all like sing your praises, like, "Oh, so grateful for Maren. If it wasn't for Maren, I don't know if I could have actually started." And like, look where she is, and that's the goal. And yes, that's incredible. And I love that you're a
Yeah,
part of our
it's great. But
community in
yeah,
that way.
so what I'm building here, I wanna, look into do more due diligence for Perth maybe because it's not so far away, same time zone also.
Mm,
So
yeah,
yeah, coming your way. And
yeah.
and I'm
We already
interested
talked
in
about
finding
visiting
more
and
out.
seeing each
Yeah,
other. Yeah.
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
And Cape Town, I'm interested in Cape Town. I don't know,
Oh,
I haven't done
yes.
any homework yet, but
But you've
if
been on
that would
holiday.
be an interesting. No, I
Yeah.
have never been, but I'm
Oh, I thought you
considering
said you
going
went.
there
You're
this.
planning to.
I
Yeah.
am planning to in this rainy season. That's a plan I have. Yeah, to
You're
stay
going to
there for a
love
little
Cape
while.
Town. Cape Town's a
Yeah.
beautiful, beautiful place. For those watching and they're like, oh, what do I know about Cape Town? I was actually born in Johannesburg in South Africa. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, my dad was actually born in Cape Town, and like we obviously had been there for holidays, and I just remember it being such a beautiful place. But yeah, Airbnb would.
Yeah.
I remember doing a bit of research about Airbnbs over there. I'm like, oh my gosh, it would be incredible to have, something
Yeah,
over
I
there
know.
too. They do really well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
any
So it's
final?
that's the plan. So
Yeah,
let's see.
yeah. I love the plans. I love the whole. You're building your business. You can work from anywhere in the world. You're your own boss, and you are absolutely killing it with everything that you're doing there in Bali. So, for people watching who are like, that's so great, I love your story, it's so inspirational, how would I even get started? What's sort of your advice or tips for people who in our community, maybe just getting started, and even for the people who are watching this who are interested in starting Airbnb as a side hustle, as a business, what would be your best advice to those people who haven't quite got their first property yet?
Yes, I feel like, and that's also what James says all the time. Maybe your first deal will not never be the best deal, but you have
Mm,
to get started. Just
so good.
start it,
Mm,
and then you'll go on the journey and you'll get your experiences. And on the way, you can still adjust, and you can.
hmm.
The thing is, you can always get rid of deals again if there's always exit ways. There's always ways, but if you don't start, you will not get to where you want to go. And honestly, if I look
Brilliant.
back, if I don't do things like with full heart, like half-heartedly, you don't get anywhere. So if you really want to do it, then go for it, and do it. Don't
Just get
talk.
started.
I'm
Yeah.
Exactly. Honestly, so maybe it takes a while until you get the right deal, but you make sure you do your due diligence and analyzing it. Be a bit more conservative so that in the numbers and you're analyzing numbers, and if it works very conservative, you can always overachieve it. But sometimes it just helps to get in because the first property always feels the most scariest
Hmm.
because you don't know, like this whole setting up a listing on Airbnb, putting up on a property, like the automated messages, everything's new. But the
Mm,
moment you get into a flow and you feel more confident, and then you'll have your learnings. You'll only get better if you start.
yeah.
And maybe the first deal is not the best deal, but you'll always be able to get rid of it, but you'll learn, and
Mm,
then you just take it on from there. And
that's
always
it.
think, the other takeaway from me is, every time you feel a door closes, another one will open for sure. Just trust
Mm,
the process.
trust the process. Do your due diligence. Just start. That's the main thing.
Yeah,
And if you
honestly, yeah,
don't, how else are you going to know whether this is going to work or not? If you just sit back and
exactly.
watch everyone
Yeah,
else doing it. And that was some great
yeah,
advice there, Maren. So thank you for
yeah.
sharing that. Oh,
You're
this has
welcome.
been great. I feel like these it's so hard to kind of cut these at an hour because I'm like, oh, there's so much else like that we could be talking about and so many other questions I could be asking you. Like, especially when it comes to the
Come over
Bali
to
market.
Bali.
Well, yeah, I did
Oh
say that,
yeah.
didn't I? I'm like, well, we're there end of next month and let's just hire a studio and we can delve. I'm thinking like things that could be helpful for some people who may be interested in the Bali market is actually doing a podcast specifically about the Bali market, what's currently happening there, what the infrastructure looks like, what
Yeah,
the future plans are for Bali, you know, where the best areas or up and coming areas are to start considering
yeah,
for, short term rentals. And yeah, I think we'll offline this
yeah.
conversation for now and we can plan what we're going to do when we're there in
Absolutely.
person.
Yeah.
But thank you so much, Maren, for being
You're welcome.
brave and for being so open to share, your story and your journey of just where you've come from and how you've, built what is just the start of an empire. Manolia
Yeah,
Stays. Yes,
exactly.
come on.
Exactly.
So
Yeah. You gotta
if
have your
you,
vision,
yeah,
right? And
that's it. If you don't have any vision, like, yeah, yeah, you need
then
a
you don't
why,
need
you
to
need a
start.
vision, you
Then
need to know
you
where you're
then
going.
exactly.
Yeah,
Then don't
yeah,
start. Exactly.
exactly. So if people want to book a stay with you, you do direct bookings on your website, don't you?
Of
You've got
course.
that
Yes.
facility.
Yeah.
Yes, we are all
And
about
yeah.
direct bookings.
Yeah.
Obviously, to start
Exactly.
with, people need to list on Airbnb as a start, and get their villas out there, and then eventually, like,
Yeah.
build your business where guests are booking directly with you next time, like on the next time they want to stay with
Exactly.
you.
Yeah.
So that website, we'll put
Exactly.
that up. What is it?
Yeah.
Your website? Yeah.
www.manolia-stays.com.
That's it. And then you've got your Instagram, which I talked about before, and you've got some
Exactly.
great videos. And
Manolia.stays.
that's it, Manolia.stays on
Exactly.
Instagram. And this was a great episode, Maren, and thank you again.
Thank you
And
so much for having me.
can't wait to see you in Bali next month.
Yes. See you.
It would be great. It would be great. So, guys, thank you again for tuning
Amazing.
in to another episode of
Thank
Behind
you
the
for
BNB.
listening.
Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and feel free to share this episode with people you know who are interested in all things short term rentals and Airbnb. Until our next episode, we'll see you then. Take care.